the glad winter. And on their name, put some respect. Yeah, yeah. I think it's time for reality check. Yeah, reality check. Gotta get you back on cold. Reality check. For the young and the old. Reality check. Yeah, the ill your soul. Reality check. Get ready for the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. The moon is out. The moon is out. Oh, hey, I'm being possessed by a werewolf. I'm under the influence.
That's a hell of a way to start the show tonight. The moon was incredible when I saw it. I don't know if this is like a special moon, a hunter's moon. I don't know if it's one of those, but definitely was a sight. And then people do get a little crazy when it's a full moon. So
whenever you're under the influence, anything can happen.
That's true.
Because when you're under the influence, everything is wunderbar.
Wait, where'd you go? You're muted.
Everything is wunderbar. I don't know what happened. Lost in space. Yeah, I need a director. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
I need a director. Whenever I get 100,000 subscribers, then I'll get it together. So that may never happen. You'll get there before me.
Oh, stop that.
Yes, your shows are always real good. Your shows are always thoughtful.
Well, thank you. And your shows just really irritate people. So it's not even that they're not watching; they're hate watching, and they're not signing into YouTube to watch. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. At least King of Dreams says, "Good evening. What up, King of Dreams?" And then All the Way Free says, "Peace and salute, Eve, Dr. Winters, and the family." Yes. How to do? Sometimes I do like to play that old nigger, I guess sometimes, I mean, seriously, sometimes when instead of saying hello, I say, "What up, Captain?" Because back down south, everybody used to be Captain, the plantation owner,
right.
They call him Captain. But, it's kind of hard not to be under the influence because, see, we're constantly under the influence of other people because it's people that they give us life. It's people that give us a reality, and so sometimes we're under the influence, when you're in love, when you're not in love, when you're in hate, it's various influences. But when you're under the influence, what do you do? How do you be free?
It's a great start. And I would agree. I say this all the time with regards to our minis. If the parents aren't in control of the program, then they will be programmed elsewhere, outside influences. And then you find that you didn't even know that your child knew what they knew. And it's because they're getting it from somewhere else. So, well, you might have thought that it wasn't appropriate or you weren't ready. Well, they got it. And not only did they get it, but they got it in maybe an unsafe environment. And I just mean there's no supervision or guidance, nobody there to answer any questions that they might have about whatever it is. Because if it's, let's go with children who stumble across, or this is like a back in the day thing, if you stumbled across your dad or uncle's videos or magazines or something, and it's always your dad. It's never your mom's got a box of it's never that.
A box of pornography,
But like, when that happened, the boys, I guess, would tell their friends like, hey, yeah, oh shit, look at this. And then that's an unsafe environment because it's a bunch of kids, right? And who is there to really tell them why it's like this or what it's for, as much as they get to put their own imagination to the test and then go from there. So it starts.
I used to do home visits, because this I used to work with this teacher, Mrs. Zawacki, and he was the eighth grade teacher. He was the eighth grade teacher leader, and so he used to visit homes. So I started visiting homes too, and I was really surprised when I'd visit the homes, and some parents would have their pornographic films with the regular film
right there in the DVD
rack, and I think that's how a lot of our children started becoming, especially a lot of the girls became, I think, homosexuals because and just about all the pornography they have woman on woman sex,
right.
in the pornographic films. I don't, people tell me that's what's on them. I don't really know, but anyway, people tell me that, and so I went into this home, and they had all the films in the same place, and I said, damn, that's kind of weird. I wouldn't want my children to see my pornographic films if I had any. I wouldn't want my children to be able to just flip them in the viewer.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that because I remember. I think it was about 2008. 2008, I was 2008. I was teaching eighth grade, and all of a sudden, all these they started having gangs of girls, in eighth grade who wanted to be homosexual. I remember my granddaughter. She was talking about she was in a Catholic school. She just graduated from college. Congratulations, baby. But anyway, she when she was in school at a Catholic school, all the girls talked about was performing oral sex on the boys. So it's a new world out there. It's a new world. When I was growing up, the only people who performed oral sex was old ladies on young guys to get so they could be cougars and stuff. That's how it was when I was growing up. I'm 74. Let's show you how old I am. But then things just changed, and I go along with the program because, I'm not under the influence, but sometimes I have to go along with the crowd. Sometimes so I can be liked. I want you to like me, please like me. Will you like me? See, and so if you want people to like you, a lot of times you have to go along with that bullshit. And
I feel you. And then, sometimes people don't speak up when something is off. Maybe they hadn't been exposed to it. So they don't say, well, what's that? Or why are you doing that? As much as they just kind of witness it, bystand a little bit. And then, they kind of pocket it for later. Maybe they have an older brother, sister, cousin that they do talk to about this stuff because it's scary to talk to your parents about stuff like this. But under the influence, I find that it starts when you're a child, and then from there it blow up weights, because if you've always been a person to allow outside influences to guide you, then you won't have any original thoughts of your own. I saw you titled this with regards to the election, and I think it's fitting. There's a lot of zombies out here who, and I'm talking on both sides, red and blue, Democrat, Republican, they don't have an original thought as much as they're just kind of repeating this drone or mantra of, I don't like this person, so I'm going to vote for this person. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I mean, yeah, the cult of personality is real, but these people that you want us to vote for actually do more than just have a symbolic meaning behind their position. So it's a little bit different.
Like especially now, not so much on For those of us who look at the internet a lot and look at YouTube a lot, you see that you see this big conflict. Everybody wants to make us into the big Negro. So then Kamala Harris, she's supposed to be the black woman, and so I know they had one thing about black men, you got to support the black woman, and then they're saying that the black women got to support the black woman. I don't have to be under your influence. I should be able to do whatever I want to do. And in fact, I choose the couch. But the thing is, this is that a lot of people, I don't see it so much, but maybe because my circle, my son's daughter's friends, a lot of going to be on the couch too. So I don't feel that pressure. But I can imagine that other people may feel the pressure. Sometimes I wonder because sometimes if I was still teaching and if I was around my colleagues at school and stuff and hearing them talk, it's only maybe one or two people in the lunchroom whenever you go, because most of the time we have different schedules.
Right.
But I wonder about that. I think about that. When I was still teaching when Obama became president, and and the thing is, this is my wife. She refused to vote. My baby doll, she refused to vote for Obama.
Smart woman.
Yeah, she wouldn't vote for Obama, And sometimes I think about what my baby doll think now, seeing this woman this black woman that they said they wanted, that since I'm black, I should vote for. And since you're a black woman, you should vote for her too. But she said, are you going to do anything? She said, I'm not going to do anything just for black people. No. I mean,
and now she has a black agenda for black men.
She do.
But when you look at it, it's one of my Twitter friends, they said, if you want a PPP loan and a blunt, then yeah, go ahead and vote for Kamala. And
they're going to give us thousands of loans, black men and others.
And everybody. I just saw that headline. It said
it's always others.
Black men, but everybody can apply for these loans and this relief because, it's an economic opportunity for all. And we're not going to go back. So every time I hear that, she changed it up. Last time she was in the limelight, she said she wasn't going to do anything specific for black people. Mm-hmm. Now she's not talking about black people as much as she keeps saying, we're not going to go back. We're not going to go back. We're going to turn the page. And that just sounds like they want to clear the books and say, we don't owe anybody anything. We're going to start from here. And then, we're sorry that happened to you, Black America. But we turned the page, we're not going back. And, we're just going to have to make amends and move forward. Or what's even worse, I think that they're going to say, we were going to pay you, but we ran out of money. Almost like FEMA. I think that FEMA is a foreshadow for them saying, yes, we were going to cut the check, but we spent all this here and Israel and Lebanon and the illegals that we allowed to be here, and they just exhausted our funding. We're in debt to all these other countries.
But really, traditionally, the southern states they've rarely voted for they've rarely voted for monies to help out FEMA and help out for these disasters. But a lot of disasters now, especially the last that earthquake that went to North Carolina, and it hit a lot. It hit a lot of the so-called what do they call them?
Sundown towns.
So-called sundown towns. They said a lot of sundown towns in the mountains, But no, the sundown towns are in Illinois, where I live. They're in the Midwest. Those are where the real sundown towns are. Down south, there may be a sundown town, but they're really up here. You just better not be in Cicero after 12 o'clock.
That's crazy. Being in Virginia, there's Lynchburg, Virginia, and it was always weird to drive through a place called Lynchburg, but I don't know if that was a sundown town as much as it was just a very strangely named town in a state that,
It
people
was probably
are
a major town where a lot of Dutch people used to burgers used to lynch people and put them on the lynching tree and
Mm.
make them die because they come from England.
You're like Kamala tonight with all the accents. I can't
Well,
keep.
I tried my best. You know, when I was younger, I wanted to be a ventriloquist. I did. I
Really?
wanted to be a ventriloquist, and I thought that one day I would be able to maybe be able to make the sounds. And then I wanted to be I was going to speak French. J'ai l'amour, la chanson, la femme, la chair.
Your little dummy was gonna be French dummy. It was gonna be
It's going to be a French dummy, and it was going to be a French girl dummy. So I would talk to her romantically, you know. But you think silly thoughts, because see, here's one of the things, Eve, that's very interesting is that when you're growing up, I don't know about you, but when you're growing up, you really nobody ever tells you, okay, your family say that there's racism out there. Your family says that you should be careful. Some of those people may hurt you, but because of the fact that growing up in the city of Chicago or growing up in your own little town where everybody around you is black, you never really see that. You never really feel that hostility. You never really feel that fear of Europeans, But it's just like I guess when they used to talk about Little Red Riding Hood, the story Little Red Riding Hood, and they
For
would
sure.
would tell
But
people those
we've got a
stories.
little bit different experience there. And it's so strange because where I grew up, there's a lot of black people, but they're all the boule essentially.
Yeah.
And then from there, like school, I told you,
Mhm.
I went to Catholic school like my whole entire life, and it was white people. But I never, I mean, hostility, sure, but I just thought that that was because teachers were mean, and then if students were mean, it was just because they didn't like you, and I never really pieced together the racism until I came to here in Virginia. But then the strangest thing, the most racist people were so helpful. I mean, like actually helpful, but they don't like you at all. But if you were stranded, I've had some car issues in my life, but I've it's been a couple times that I've been stranded, and more than one person that you would think would want to
Mhm.
probably do some really bad things to me that has pulled over and asked if I need help, and I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks. That everything is cool. I really don't. Thanks, but it it's so strange. Up north, one state up, they're a lot more sinister. They're very closeted about how they feel about us in our faces, I guess. And then
Well,
down here, it's more like if you're going to be around these people that you don't have to be around, then you're going to know how they feel about you because you didn't have to be there. Like, what?
that's what makes it so complicated. Is that that's why when people try to say number one that you can be a black racist, we can't be racist because we have no power.
Mm-hmm.
But then, in a sense, it's very hard to get black people motivated to really be biased towards whites, or to really feel that they're experiencing bias from whites. Because as you said, is that a lot of times they will act nice around you. When you were growing up, when you're growing up, you see the average sister got a frown on her face, but every white woman you see, every is smiling, a big old smile too.
Real smile too.
And and then it's something on Netflix or something that says, "Do you see that smile?" And that's what I used to think. It has to be something sinister behind that smile. But
Oh,
but it's very hard. But you grow up and when you grow up, and you're always surrounded by black people, it's hard to really feel that racism. Even when I went down to university, and I was crossing the street and they said, nigga, a car full of white boys. They said, nigga. And, I said, oh, okay. And
was that the first time you had been called nigger with the hard R?
Yeah.
The first time I was called nigger with the hard R was I was a freshman in college. And the chick,
me too.
she just felt so, but look, she felt so comfortable calling me that. And I was just like, whoa, really? White people say, okay. And then I told on her. And then she got kicked off campus housing and I had the room to myself for the whole year. That was great.
Well, you were lucky, You were lucky because when I went to university, luckily my roommate, we had both played football. So we came from the same high school. So it was pretty cool,
He was black.
Yeah, he was black,
Now, my roommate freshman year was white and she did not like me. And I don't know what happened except she just fucking nigger. And I was like, whoa, okay, Becky.
What state were you in?
In Virginia. I went to Old Dominion.
Oh, okay.
And I straight told on her and she got kicked out of on campus housing and I had the room to myself the whole year. It was
beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was one of the only freshmen with big ass room.
But you were lucky because when I was at college, a lot of times you couldn't get in the room because your roommate would be screwing somebody.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't have any of those problems.
I had that problem, and a lot of times, in the sense, you couldn't get in your room, or say, "Clyde, don't come tonight," or or whatever.
Under the influence of that.
That's right. See, I never did. I never was like that. I go to her room, but anyway, that's a different story. But the thing is, that but it's just kind of funny. I don't know. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed going to university. I enjoyed it a lot, and I guess I enjoyed it because number one, I was playing football. Number two, it was a lot of black people, and most of the people there were from Philadelphia. Most of the blacks. This was in Urbana-Champaign, and just about everybody was from Philadelphia. They used to do the Philly walk and all that. Philly, they dance. They do a lot of grind dancing, but but they're cool about it. They were very cool about it. So, and coming from Chicago, all we do is bop, where you throw the girl out, spin her around, and you got to do a lot of footwork.
Make them look good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to make the girl look good,
Make them look good.
You go out, you twist her around and, and then you do a double spin. Then you spin her around, you spin her, and then you go around. And but the people in Philly, they was doing the slow grinding dance, and it was rhythmic in steps. But I don't know, it was a good experience because that was the first time I came in contact with black people from other places, except for my cousins who might come up from Mississippi,
Okay, yeah, I guess that's the same for me too. The cultural explosion that is to meet black people from other places. I think that we can all have a different experience. And what I learned is that Black Americans have a shared and similar experience, and it doesn't seem to matter where you're from. And I'm talking it really, whatever state you came from.
But back then,
go ahead.
But back then, Puerto Ricans too. Because a lot of when I went to university, the Puerto Ricans, they hung around us too, and the Puerto Ricans say, "Damn, she thought I was white. I'm not white." Talking about the niggas. I'm a nigga.
Well, that's different because none of the black people I'm trying to think. I think the first melanated Afro Latino, they very much didn't want to be black. They said, I know black, I'm Dominican. Yeah. And I was like, you're darker than me. Because I thought that black was like
it changed.
Our race, not necessarily our culture, until I said, whoa, y'all got some different practices over here. Okay. I see. It's a little different.
But even back then, black any black person from Colombia and all those places, they wouldn't speak to you. But Puerto Ricans, like even today, most Puerto Ricans vote like FBA. But the rest of the Latinos, Venezuelans, Mexicans, they don't vote like FBA. But
that's because Puerto Rico is ours, right?
It's not just that it's ours,
right?
But back in the day, all the girls, I want me a Puerto Rican man. I said, "Oh, you're color conscious, B." Just because he's light skinned, you want him
with pretty hair.
Oh yeah,
you wanted some pretty hair babies with light skin.
Luckily, back then I was a handsome brother. Then that's before I got fat and out of shape. I had muscles. I was very handsome, and so then I didn't have any problems with girls because I was a handsome guy, and I had the winner's eyes. Almost look Asian. I don't be on no Chinese. They thought of me was a Chinese and nigga. But when you're under the influence, though, it's just and it's especially true when you go away to university. When you go away to university, you want to fit in, and you're meeting all these new people, and these black people come from all over the place, different colors, just like a lot of the people from East St. Louis used to want to eat pig noses. They used to like pig noses, and yes, and so that was interesting. And then back then you better not say nothing about chitlins because most of the girls love chitlins. I don't know, chitlins and hot sauce or something. Oh, you couldn't see, you would have been drummed out of the black family. Eve,
yeah,
you would have been out of the black family back in the day.
I might have some boule tendencies about me.
The Boulets ate it too back then. The Boulets ate chitlins too. That was supposed to have been a woman's gourmet thing. You better not talk about no chitlins.
But look, I will take.
I'm 74. You're only in your 20s. I'm 7.
Oh, you nice. I'll take that because it impresses on me how magical black women are in the kitchen, that we can take intestines. I was about to say something really gross. That we can take intestines and make a meal out of it that doesn't kill you, because really it's other cultures. They eating bugs and actual doo-doo. I've seen some really strange things on Twitter and Tariq, what's wrong with you, yo? Some of the stuff you post, it really, I think I've thrown up in my mouth like a couple times because he's like, oh, look at Sudan and this guy's getting peed on by a cow, and I'm like,
but see, that's your generation. Oh. My generation, it wouldn't have been. I mean, what was people eating rabbit, people eating squirrels? My mother would not. My mother refused to cook a possum, not a possum. Yeah, possum, because she said
those are still animals, Dr. Winters. Y'all wasn't out here eating roach patties or grasshopper cakes and cakes.
But they tried to bring it. Some white teacher bring to school. Let's taste some grasshoppers.
They did that at my school.
I was in school and I'm in third grade, and the teacher wanted to eat some chocolate grasshoppers. I don't know if that happened to you or not.
It's always some kind. They did that with us too. That's
really?
Yes. It was a candy type of bug arrangement, and they wanted us to try it, and I'm a very open person with food, but I'm not about to sit here and eat no bugs. You got me all the way fucked up. I mean, and people say roaches, I'm sorry, lobsters, shrimp, or lobsters, crabs, those are all like
catfish too.
All these bottom feeders, essentially roaches of the sea type thing. And I'm like, a catfish still has gills, and lobster it don't live in the same environment as me. Shit, like I can't.
Well, back in the 80s, if you took a woman out on a date and you didn't take her to Red Lobster, you you were considered you was considered a square.
You gotta get them Cheddar Bay biscuits, baby, right?
And that's right. And you know, you had to take a girl on a really good date. You know,
Well, that's real.
when I was a teenager, you could take somebody out to McDonald's and Burger King and the little snack shop up there. It was cool because you really went to the show and bought some popcorn or something like that. But then by the 80s, I heard people wanting to go out to extravagant things and stuff. I said, damn.
I think those people are entitled. I think that's another thing that people are under the influence of. It's what they perceive as reality. You know, we have these reality checks on Wednesday, and it is it's so crazy how people can look at social media influencers and then think that it's not content, you know, and we grew up on reality TV. So I'm kind of ashamed of some of you niggas who are out here just believing everything that you see when in real time we had Big Brother, you know, we had MTV Cribs, all of these shows that are reality, but they aren't reality. It's scripted. It's content. I mean, maybe like the Kardashians right now and all these Real Housewives shows, but that's still content that was agreed upon in some form or fashion. But then I think people say, well, the internet's not TV, so, you know, there should be more leeway or freedom given to someone accepting it. But I'm like, no, that probably should mean that it's easier to fake. I saw this one influencer couple, Black woman, white guy, and the whole premise behind their relationship is that he saved her from being a single mom, right? She's got these Black babies and she finds this white man and he saves them, right? And they go on all these trips. Come to find out, she's the breadwinner. She's the one who's been paying for everything. And this person is fucking bum. And he's not even a good bum. Like,
not even taking care of his daughter.
No, like she's like bitching, complaining about his effort, right? And then she exposes him. And I'm like, whoa, we don't even understand how bad it makes us look when you she put all her shit on blast. And I'm like, I don't know if that was worth it. She should have just ate it.
But here's the whole point. They talk about a sister taking care of a brother, but then you got the sister taking care of the white boys too. And the white men. I mean, look at what's her name?
About it. I think that was the whole thing, was so that they want to make it seem like there's a white savior. There is no white savior. If anything, you're saving them from annihilation. Like literally, they're in the red. It's like 3 different European countries that have incentives for come over here and have a baby. And then we will give you housing. We will give you a job. We will give you maternity and paternity leave. I saw a prom. It was like an adult prom, Dr. Winters. And they're like, these African men are grinding up on these Swedish or some type of ish women. And the whole event was like, come here and find somebody to make a baby with because we need men to make. This shit was so crazy. But at the end of the day, the news says that all this stuff is fake news. You don't know who to trust, but everybody's under the influence of somebody, like you said, because we're social. So, you know, who are you talking to and getting your information from? And then is it a source that's telling you, believe me, or is it a source that's telling you to ask questions? You know, I think there's levels into our influences, the outside ones. And then, you know, like I said, originally, I think it starts as a youth. If you were watching TV all the time, you know, you might look to TV to get your information. If you were listening to the radio, then maybe the radio's program and frequencies kind of passed off on you. And the music is terrible, right? So if that was you as a kid and you never had your woke moment, like Kamala said, then maybe you listen to the radio now and you let your kids listen to the radio now. And I would probably have gone to jail if any of our minis were reciting Sexy Red lyrics, because I would have beat somebody.
Let me see. The ba is red. The is brown. Yeah, but they
I
had
know
some
what I'm
good
saying.
bread.
Like you would, and you would have been dead. You would be seeing black because you wouldn't be here.
But I mean, but it's kind of funny is that that the first word I learned how to spell when I was in school was Pussy, and it was all over the place. And I said, I said,
Ooh,
what is that?
you mean
What
like
is that?
graffiti?
Yeah, graffiti all over the school, all in the bathroom,
Wow.
and I didn't even know what it was. My knee baby told me, Pops, you got a PhD, so you can't say that word on video, so I can't pronounce it. So I could just.
I think we're both recalibrating, right? You say I can't curse because it doesn't sound right, and I say,
Well, you can curse. Your cursing sound cute though. Your cursing is cute though. Your cursing sounds sexy. Fuck you. Fuck you. Shit. You see, you gotta say it real. A woman has to say it kind of long. Shit. Don't just say shit.
Emphasize that T. Definitely.
Don't just say shit, motherfucker. Just say mother. You gotta, and you gotta put you gotta get the face, the sexy face. Like I notice a lot of these videos now, and they say now break it or something. Then the girls got and it's something. I forgot the word that they say, but it's just interesting. I just love our culture. I love the fact that we just pick up on stuff, and so we're always under the influence of something, somebody, and then as you said, if your parents have you look at too much TV, you become too Americanized. Back in the day, you became Americanized. Nowadays, you'll probably become homosexual if you look at a lot of Disney. Look at the Disney Channel.
No, we definitely have TVs in the house, but we don't do the TV thing unless it's something very specific, like where we will stream something for them. I think we've both, me and my man, have decided that the things we grew up on might not have been perfect, but it wasn't as bad as the shit that's out here now. You don't have to worry about there being any gay. It might be some racist shit, but that's okay because we talk to them about these things, So, you watching Bugs Bunny and they cooking a nigga, right? It's like, wait a minute, that's actually not good, but
it used to be
that over the gay.
You used to buy Disney stock, and you knew it was at least it was just about $200. The Disney stock now it's down to $94.
Really?
Because the fact they made all those shows where they tried, where they try to show in some type of homosexuality, the little girls, the little boys, and the parents aren't letting their kids look at that stuff.
Good.
A lot of and so a lot of parents. So Disney has lost so much money over the past couple of years because they brought in that DEI or something, diversity or equal or something. They brought it, and these people, they feel is that transhumanism. The transhumanism in the sense is that see the medical people, they want to take in. They want to in a sense destroy the idea of a woman. Right. They don't really want you. Somehow they want us to eventually not want to have even sex with a woman, because they want to be able to produce the babies and they can make more money like that.
Right.
And so, but right now, that's why I think there's such a push towards transhumanism, because they want people to be able, in a sense, to let's say when you change your sex, you make a lot of money. You see, make a lot of money when you have your genitals cut off and stuff, and then maybe somebody, while they're cutting off your genitals, they might just decide, hey, maybe I'll take a kidney. Anyway, they don't need that, So you don't know, you're under the influence, and so then the medical field can see how much money they can make. It's really a shame that we live in a society where everything is about money. And And I'm so glad that I don't. Yeah, I'm so glad that I don't have any grandchildren. I mean, I don't have any children. I got grandchildren, but most of them, in a sense, most of them, what? The youngest one is what? Oh, youngest one is what? 2 months. I don't know. Damn. Yes, I just started thinking about that very young. But the thing is, this is that so. But I, but their parents have to deal with that. Their parents have to deal with that. Their parents have to try to teach them, and it's kind of very hard because see, when I was growing up, the TV and everything, it was made so that it could a culture, you could become a culturized or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was teaching, my advisor used to say when I was at university, what are you doing? What are you doing? You said, you want to be a social studies teacher. I said, yes, I do. He said, what are you? I said, I'm just going to be a teacher. He said, no, you're a propagandist. You're going to sell the love of America.
Right.
You're going to sell the love of the government, the love of the country. That's your job, Mr. Winters. And and that's the way it is. And so, but we're always under the influence of something. It's something that's influencing us, and we're being influenced by so many different things. We're being influenced by our loved ones, being influenced by our parents. Like you said, you came from a bougie family. I came from a working class family. Therefore, in a sense, is that by coming from a working class family, college was not a place for building up a knowledge base. College was not a place where you go to really in a sense learn a discipline or learn a practice. I was going to college to get a job. That's what I was going to get, a job. And so
but I mean that's essentially what
even your parent, even your
Yep.
Get out of here.
Because little known fact, I had a music scholarship, and that's why I came to the school that I went to, because they gave me the most money. But then from there, I didn't want to be a musician, but that is how I paid my tuition.
What did you play?
The trumpet.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here, jazzy girl. Get out of here.
And
I would have never known.
Yeah, it's one of those little known facts about Eve. But no, they definitely thought that I was gonna take the music somewhere, and maybe I could have, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I ended up getting an art degree, and they were very upset about that because they're like, "What job are you gonna get? How are you gonna all this?" And I ended up, being gainfully employed, but not in my field until I wanted to get my master's. I thought that would help me with my options, but essentially, unless I wanted to be an art teacher, I didn't really have any options. Because
what did you want to get your master's in? Was it music, trombone, or was it just general music?
No, my master's, it would have been in art therapy at that time. I ended up getting a master's in urban education with an emphasis in counseling. But originally, my undergrad was a music major. I hadn't quite figured out what focus I wanted to do. But no, I couldn't do that. Those people were kind of insane. And they were a lot more serious than I was. So I switched it. And my parents are very upset about that, because what kind of job are you going to get with an art degree? But I'm like, the music was an art degree too. But they were like, no, you would have been able to do, I don't know. They had thoughts. So anyway, no, we definitely have to have a plan when you go there if you're going to spend all that money, because that's insane. Being under the influence of thinking that going to a place is going to give you access, especially now when I know a few people with doctorates, JDs, and they're not a lawyer and they're not a professor. They've had to get additional credits to do something else. Maybe they're a banker now. or they are in real estate, like completely different from what they used to do.
Like O'Shea Duke Jackson, he talks about the fact he went to medical school in Poland, but now he's doing YouTube videos and stuff. And like you said, it's funny how a lot of times people they think they want to do something when they're young and they don't. I always, even when I was in fifth grade, I decided I was going to be the greatest explorer in history, and I went home and I that night I got really sad because because I said, damn, the Spanish and Portuguese, they discovered everything. So I decided I was going to be an explorer and be the first one to discover things in history. I was going to be the first one to decipher languages, and that's what I've done.
That is what you did.
Yeah, that's what I did. But the point is this: is that it's making these decisions. Probably just like you. A lot of times, for you to be successful today, a lot of times you decide on that by the time you was 10, 16 at the latest. Between 10 and 16, you decide on your future career. And see, as parents, when we look at that 10-year-old, we see a little child. But as a teacher, when I see a 10-year-old, I see a little adult. That's not fair, is it?
We always have that little discussion. I'm with you because my thought is we already have so many damaged people out here. And I think about them as children. Like they were probably a handful or a little menace to society, or like you definitely push the limits because I can see how you are now. And then I look at my students and I'm like, whoa, I know an adult that's just like you, because people don't change. You be 64 dealing with the same shit you were dealing with in high school. And that's insane.
Yeah.
But I have a question.
Go ahead.
I think back in a couple of shows, we talked about, I don't want to say Black empowerment cults, but like these people who are in the movement who kind of wanted you to be this player or single with these women's, but you ended up being married, children, having whole families. So then they kind of didn't really want you in the circle.
No, you couldn't get in. Like the Kemetic Institute.
That was kind of like a cult.
Kind of like a cult, but it was a Chicago thing. See, the first job I had was taking around political literature and putting it in the hallways and putting it in mailboxes. In Chicago, they always want to have dirt on you. And so people like Anderson Thompson and some of the so-called Afrocentric people of the 70s and 80s. I was 20. I'm 22, and they're 40 something.
Right.
And so when I got out of university, I was publishing articles and stuff like that at 22. Mm-hmm. And they said, "How could you do that?" I said, "I would read the article and write it like." And people thought I was a professor. They've been calling me Dr. Winters ever since I was 23. But these Black people, in a sense, like the Kemetic Institute, like Anderson, Carruthers, all those people from the Kemetic Institute, all of them had mess on each other, because Hunter Adams, what happened to him is that Hunter Adams, his girlfriend, he was in the hospital, and his wife's cousin came, and his wife's cousin, in a sense, came at the same time his girlfriend was in, because to join the Kemetic Institute, you had to have a girlfriend too. Mm-hmm. My wife, she was too beautiful. I mean, I didn't have time. I'm sorry, I didn't have the time, and my wife was not going to give me the time to have time to give another woman something. I mean, hey, I didn't have time. She was anyway, we had a lot of fun.
No, I think that's good, because it is the contrast that I think that people might need to see. You talked about O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's got like almost 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah. So he's got like a little cult of personality around him. Not saying he's out here saying, I'm the authority or anything like that, as much as he just has his channel. I don't necessarily watch his videos, so you would know more about how he talks than I would. But what I've had the experience of being around is persons saying, I'm not the leader. There is no leader. Don't worry about a leader, but then very much wanting to lead, and then kind of pushing events or having extortionable types of material on people in order to push events. And then it's like, well, damn, is anytime Black people get together going to have this issue with people wanting to be up here, but in like a type of way,
like Chicago.
Sex
I'm
related.
I'm from Chicago, and coming from Chicago, Mayor Daley, everybody, Chicago people always got to have something on you to control you, just in case you get out of line. See, if you get out of line, then I'm going to bring up, hey, what about this? What about that? Like how Diddy do his freak offs.
That's interesting.
So then, that's a lot of people they grow up in urban areas. They learn that people want to have blackmail on you.
I want to say that Chicago is where TVA got stiffed for some money for one of his documentaries. Like they kind of mob bossed him or strong armed him with regards to, yeah, you paid, but you're going to pay some more. And then he had to pay some more to do whatever it was.
Find a fool.
But
that's because the model in Chicago is find a fool and bump his head, And then plus, it's kind of cool now. But like the Black Disciples were started at a Catholic church.
Right.
The Blackstone Rangers was started at a Catholic church.
Right.
You see how the Jesuits brought gangbanging to Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
We've had that conversation, right? Because essentially before that, not a lot of dissent, and then you start getting these other melanated people in the area, and it's like, yeah, we're all brothers, sisters, because we have that ethnogenocide that we went through, and then from there, we understand
what you said. Ethnogenocide. You said ethnogenocide.
Oh. Paper genocide.
You're right though. But anyway,
I didn't mean to say it like that though. But
you're right.
We died, right? And then we came back to life as this amalgamated people. Yeah. So add more niggas to the mix, and essentially it should still have been one big nigga, but then the other niggas said, I'm not like you, but I'll be here. I'll be the spook that sat by the door. I got a quote. I want to know if you've heard this before. Let me see. I really wish people would stop messaging me while we're live, but I have a quote.
You're popular. You're a popular woman. That's good.
Here's a quote. I have tried to mislead you. I'm not humble at all. I have no humility, and I do not fear you in the least. If I pretend to be shy, if I appear to hesitate, it is only a sham to deceive. By playing the humble part, I succor my fellow men in and seduce them of their trust. And then, if it suits my advantage, I lower the boom mercilessly. I lied when I stated that I had no sense of myself. I'm very well aware of my style. My vanity is as vast as the scope of a dream. My heart is that of a tyrant. My arm is the arm of the executioner. It is only the failure of my plots that I fear. Have you ever heard that before or read that before?
No, you're describing Black Power niggas of the 60s. That's how they were.
That is funny. Fakers. That's Eldridge Cleaver.
Yeah, I told you Black Power people in the 60s. Because they were fakers. They were fakers. They were cowards. See, I was just a teenager. So since I was a teenager, I didn't know no better. Me and my wife, we're teenagers. We don't know shit. We don't know. We really believe in what they said.
Absolutely. Because why wouldn't you if they are 20 years your senior and they've been doing it longer than you? But
they weren't 20. Later, okay, you look at these people, and I look at these people now. I said Diana Ross, there's only maybe 5 or 6 years older than me. But I thought they were because they were famous. Because they were famous, I thought they were somebody, Eldridge Cleaver, the rest of those brothers. So you're looking up to them. You're looking up to them. You're 16, 17, and you're seeing brothers walking around with rifles. Yeah, my father had 3 or 4 rifles in the house. I knew how to shoot and shit.
right.
I knew how to clean squirrels and maybe hunt rabbits and shit like that. I knew all of that. But the thing is this, though, is that hell, it was still exciting to see these people who were acting, like they were strong,
Right.
that they were strong, they were adventurous, they were powerful, and I like that stuff.
And now fast forward to 20.
I got to plug in my cord. Go, you can keep talking.
I'm saying, you fast forward to now, and it's the same, more of the same. People acting like they are something that they're not. And because there really is no checks and balances, there's really no vetting happening. Not really, as much as people they find a sound that they like, that resonates with them. And then, that they'll move in that direction. To me, it's dangerous when it comes to Black empowerment, because people acting like they are something else is how other people get shot. And then it's like, well, damn, we're under the influence of voices or people who aren't real. So it's very strange to try to come back from that. But when you do, if you do, you can kind of, I guess, help other people who might be under the influence. Because a person who's an addict, they go to the counseling, they go to 12 steps, they go through the process, and then they still have to say that they're an addict. They're never not an addict anymore. So if that's like that for substances, then it should be the same across environments. You would still have to say, yeah, that was something that you had an issue with, and yeah, that was something that really got you. But if it's Black empowerment that got you under a spell,
but it's just that you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do, and you hear somebody talking strong. You hear somebody acting as if they're talking, and you say, damn, maybe they're for real. You hear the Black Authority, and you hear, in a sense, Professor Black, and they're talking that talk. But the Black Authority, though, even when I used to hear him back in the day, I could tell he didn't have any game, because he couldn't talk to women. So I knew he didn't have any game. But again, I used to listen to some of his stuff until I met you. Thank you, you mean woman. But and like
Bobby Hawes in the chat, you can tell when someone doesn't listen to the conversation, because I didn't say I grew up in a white neighborhood, sir. I said that I went to a white school. And for what it's worth, like Dr. Winters has always said, that's not really part of my vocabulary. Some of you niggas just don't really have good hearing unless I do something extra colorful. Right. So welcome to my show.
I couldn't even talk back in the day. I used to have to carry a note. I go to the store and then they say, when is Clyde, go home and get a note. So a lot of times, yes, that's why a lot of times, in a sense, and I learned how to talk by looking at TV and stuff like that. That's why I was very Americanized growing up.
That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to get the assimilation because of proximity. So when you see Band-Aids that are not your skin color, when you see families on TV that don't look like yours, when everything is geared to the blonde who's happy versus the brunette who's always just angry about everything, you start to make associations, and then you are that little child picking between the two dolls, which doll is ugly and which
But I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Since you dyed your hair blonde, don't people see you in a different way?
people have lots of commentary about my hair, from you niggas always saying that you want to be black power and look at you blonde. But then I've also heard in our chat specifically people saying that they want you to go into, the black people who do have blonde hair, because that's not foreign to us either, as much as it's foreign to my head.
It is.
But
I mean, when a sister get a certain age and she get that first grade, when she gets that first grade, that hair is blonde. I'm sorry. Once you get that first gray, it's blonde.
Oh, yeah, it's all in there. You can't see it right now, though.
We're not supposed to see it. We're not supposed to see it. And see, but this is the whole point, and this is wonderful. You know what I love about your generation is your generation can feel beautiful. The women of my generation, they would pretend to think they felt beautiful, but they didn't really feel beautiful. They didn't really feel pretty. No, they didn't feel beautiful or pretty because they were conditioned to feel that if they wasn't light skinned with good hair, they weren't pretty, Right. But now sometimes some of the girls that I used to think was pretty, and I see them on Facebook today, marry your ass. Damn, you're not. Damn. I may have left you years ago. No, but the thing is that they didn't feel pretty. They didn't feel pretty, and
they were under the influence of the assimilation. Every
girl you knew, I'm gonna give me a Puerto Rican. You don't even speak Spanish, B. What the hell are you talking about? But I got to get me one with some, and my baby's going to have some good hair, and people be fighting to keep their baby's hair straight. No, that baby all after a while, it just don't keep it straight.
Not if you, look like us, not really. Yeah. It's sad because essentially some people can't be left alone with their thoughts because their thoughts are not their own. So, from what you're going to make for dinner or what you're going to eat for the day, if you got commercials playing in your head 24/7 because all you do is listen to programming, you probably don't have money because you've spent it on all of these things that you can have right now. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you do, and it's just a little vicarious moment away from your responsibilities or something else. But quiet, do those people have quiet? I don't think that they do. And then in the quiet, that's when the important things happen. But Black America doesn't have time to sit with their quiet because we're living paycheck to paycheck or having all of these responsibilities.
That's true. But see, that's why you go ahead. That's why you have a good wife. See, as a man, what a man wants from a woman is peace. And when you can come home and have peace, that makes everything so wonderful. Because see, the real world is stressful. Because in the real world, you had to tap dance, you had to jump through hoops to really make it, And but when you come home, you want to, in a sense, you want to have peace. Like most women, they don't pocket watch their man. They don't pocket watch their man unless he fails. What do you mean? If he gets out of work, and he's not working for a while and he have to ask you for money, and it's not negative, but when he have to ask you for money, when you had to be responsible for the bills, see, women don't like to pay bills. They don't like to pay bills. They'll pocket watch their man and say, "Nigga, did you pay the bills?" But they don't want to pay the bills. If they get the money, in a sense, because see, sometimes they're gonna want to do what they want. They can have money in the bank, and they're not gonna even spend the damn money in the bank. Do you hear me? They're not going to spend the money in the bank. But the thing is, this is that they still want you to make them feel secure. They still want you to make them feel good. So it's very complicated. But then when a woman has to help her man, she doesn't mind helping her man, but because she has to help her man, it puts her under stress. Because then she has to worry about the bills. How to pay this, how to pay that.
That's a very good point. Then she can't really she can't be as feminine as she wants to if she has to think about providing. Yet it's different roles, I think, that we have. Not that they aren't shared in some form or capacity, but it's very interesting because society, that's who's forming and shaping our opinions of gender roles and norms. And then right now, they want us to not have any gender identity as much as it's just people. And people can do everything because you're people. You can birth a baby. You can feed a baby. I don't think they've quite figured out how to make those fake pieces and parts shoot out anything to make a baby, but they have lots of data and science about the artificial wombs holding a baby. So, like women that are under attack, but a lot of those women did it to themselves, wanting to do more than what they're supposed to do. Maybe they're bored with their role. I don't know what it was, but they got us in a pickle. They
do
something.
They do because it's they mislead people. They mislead people. Sometimes you may say, "Damn, my sister got it good." Damn. I mean, she got it easy. And you're a boy. You say, "Daggone, why does she have it easy?" Then if you go too far, you might start to say, "Oh, I want to be like her, so I'm homosexual." See, a lot of times you can make yourself believe whatever. See, when you're under the influence, you can make yourself believe anything. Because other people can encourage you to believe that you're right. See, right. Sometimes you have to just acknowledge. Sometimes you have to acknowledge that you're not right. Sometimes you have to acknowledge that you don't know everything. Sometimes you have to acknowledge that you two are growing. You two are growing. Right. And see, as you said, I think you just said is that one has to be responsible for the bills entirely. Then they're under the then in a sense. It's hard for them to be feminine, because see, most of the time, I was talking to my sons the other day, and they were saying, Pops, I said I might need a new car, and they were saying, well, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, and you can do that. I said, I can't do this, I can't do that. Yes, you can. I said, you cannot tell me what I can do because you're in a different place. You're married and you work and your wife works. And you over there, you're married and your wife works. And you down there, you're married and your wife works. And then my oldest son said, yeah, I made sure possible that I wasn't going to marry nobody that didn't have a job. I said, okay. And so then I said, but it's just me. I have to use my monies off of my pension or what have you, And so then I said, you can't compare yourself to me because there's two of you. And so then that means in a sense that putting your salaries together, that allows you to be able to accomplish maybe a little bit more than I would. So they say, go ahead, get you a little ass car anyway. I said, well, I want a Cadillac. Pops, get you a little ass car like you're driving now. I bought that for your mama, but you know what I used to drive. I bought that for your mama. Well, hey, buy something for mama you. You can be the mama you. But again, it's just interesting that as long as you're working, your woman doesn't pocket watch you. When they got to pay all the bills. When they got to pay all the bills, no more good sex. No more peace in the home because they're worried about how to make it. So you don't want your woman to be worried about how to make it. That's
Right.
why you want to make sure you take care of the bills, because when your woman has to think about how to make it, then her mind is not going to be on pleasing you. Her mind is not going to be on making peace around the house. Her mind is going to be on how the hell do we make it, baby? How do we make it, baby?
That's real. And then add into the fact that, social media influences say that, hey, you don't have to be with that nigga. He doesn't make 6 figures. And then people crash out over that type of stuff because
it's better on the other side. You can do better than that.
Right.
You can be like Tia Mowry and stuff.
Right.
Damn. I was a virgin. I met him when I was 20. I was a virgin at 25. Now I'm divorcing him and I'm gonna find somebody better.
Right.
Da da da.
Right.
Da da da. It's not always like that. Sometimes you do find somebody better.
I mean, you shouldn't teach to the exceptions, though. We so special. We're such a unique, special people. I say unique because shared experiences don't actually mean unique, but we're so cool in ourselves that we start to think that the exception is the rule. And then you start not letting things slide or letting things slide because you can do it or you've done it. And
everybody can do it.
Right.
Everybody can do it.
Right. Everybody can't do everything. That's something that we got to let go of. And I mean, absolutely, scientifically, I cannot lift as much as a man my size if we had the same size and muscle mass because it's a dude. I mean, not that I can't lift heavy things, right? That's not what I'm saying.
But your man don't want you to lift everything.
Well, that too. So
because then you get muscles. Like my wife, when we first got married, she's working at the post office. And I said, damn, you're getting a little muscular there. I have to throw the. She didn't really talk in there. I have to throw the bags around. I said, your voice is changing. No, it wasn't, but I mean. you want to.
She wants to be fierce, like women who fight bears.
But again, it's much more. And see, that's why we always end up, no matter what we do, we always run back to Neely Fuller. And Neely Fuller says that we're prisoners of war. And I hated it.
Right.
I hated when I read Neely Fuller. And he said that even if you're man, you're still a prisoner of war. And I did not like that because I didn't think I was a prisoner of war being married to my wife. I thought that I had that was something that I did. That was something that I had control over. But he was right. I didn't have control over that because see, it's still dictated by Europeans. If society keeps me out of a job long enough, there's a very good chance that me and my wife is not going to be together because see, it's going to be too many pressures and we're going to be arguing over how to survive. Right. And yeah, we can say, well, I wish we didn't go that way, but you're only human. You're only human. You can take so much pressure. And I mean, that's why when I was growing up, I said, I looked at my mama. I said, all these women around there taking high blood pressure pills. What the hell is this?
They're stressed out.
And I said, damn. That's what I was thinking. I'm a teenager. I'm 14, 15, and I'm just looking at all these women, my aunties and all that. Everybody got a pill box. and then all of a sudden, hell, by the time my wife got 35, she had a pill box. What the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
But it was, a lot of vitamins in there and natural stuff. But but the thing is that it is very difficult. I think it's very difficult. And our women always reach a point where a lot of times they're stressed out because they a lot of times often your woman want to help you so bad that sometimes she puts too much pressure on herself because she may want to help her man so bad, and seeing that, and you know, and in a way she want to say, you know, you're a fuck up, but she knows that he may be trying, but she does, but her mind wants to say, oh, you're a fuck up, fuck you, nigga, what? But you know that's that other side of you. Then all of a sudden you catch yourself. You know, it's like a Twilight Zone. You know, when to me, the black woman, to me, a black woman has to, in a sense, she has to delude herself a lot of times. She has to delude herself. You know, she has, you know, because she has to make herself feel that she's a real woman. She has to make herself feel that she has a real family. You know, and that's all make believe, because we have no control over our families, because most of the time, as a man, I have no control over my job. I'm always looking for a European to give me a job.
Right.
I'm waiting, and if the white man or white woman don't give me a job, I'm out of it. And so then, because of the fact, that's why when Neely Fuller said we're all prisoners of war, it's so true, because we're always waiting for that European, and it's just so bad. I mean my grandkids. My grandkids, when they go to college, you know, I mean, I got 6 kids, so I got a lot of grandkids. And when they go to college, I might say, I can give you $500 when you go to college. And then in a sense, but then white people are giving their grandkids $5,000, $10,000 when they go to college. And they're saying, you're a really poor ass granddad. You only got $500. Well, hey, I'm giving you something.
Right.
Don't go out of town. No, all my grandkids, they all got to go out of town. Stay in your town. No, they always got to go to another state. So
Yeah.
that's what you're having tuition. And I tell you this, I know I'm gonna get a text on Sunday, because I was in college. I know I'm gonna get a text on Sunday. You know, Granddad, can I'm a little hungry. Can you use a little money? You know, because on Sunday when I was going to university, you only got one meal in the dorm on Sunday. One meal. It's still one meal.
Well, when I was going, which is still, it's not like yesterday. The cafeterias were open for like one time, like this brunch time, but my college, they had just built a Chick-fil-A or Pizza Hut on campus.
Yeah, but you got to have the money.
Yeah, which it comes out of your little meal ticket budget. But
really?
Go eat on Sunday at
so you can use your meal ticket there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it did cost more than like you have a breakfast, lunch. You have a meal stipend. So if you get 200 meals in the quarter semester or whatever, those special ones kind of, I think they hit the bank a little bit harder, or you had to actually put money in it to use it at those places. But
that's why a lot of kids, they be saying, I got a scholarship. Yeah, I got a scholarship paying my tuition. Yeah, but then your housing is $46,000. It's all your housing. If you're living on campus, stay. Can't you go to a university where you can drive to the campus and live at home, and all that type of stuff? No, I got to go live on campus. They got to go live on campus. And then, hey, it's cool. It's cool. I went away. But again, it's easy to tell other people. You know what I hated? I hated Eve. I hope you don't have to experience this. What I hated is to have all this experience doing this or that, and then try to tell my kids, to save them from doing that and this, and then they say, "Fuck you, I'm gonna still try."
I'm gonna do it myself.
I said, damn. I said, I was upset because my parents only had a 4th grade education. That's why they couldn't help me. And I said, now I'm trying to help you, and you're saying, they don't say it out loud, but they're saying, F you. But they're saying it under there. They're saying it. They're not going to say it out loud.
Oh.
And then later they'll say, oh, and then they'll say, like your sons will say, oh, I want to work. I want to get a car. And then later, I'm going back to school. Then you say, oh, you are? Okay. They never go back to school. They never go back. And then later they wonder why they're not making nice money or and things like that, or and then they're wondering in a sense. Then so I mean, damn, that's why if the average black woman, she's always going to be making more than you because she's more educated than you, and it's very difficult. But again, like I said, is that we'd like to pretend as black people, we like to pretend that you can't live off love. But I'm going to tell you, Eve, is that the majority of us, when we get married, we live off love, because most of the time our mate, especially if your man is usually having a hard ass time making money. And so a lot of times, many a night you cry by yourself. Many a night a black woman cries by herself saying, damn, I wish he could get a job, And then, or I wish he wouldn't have got fired. I remember when I was younger, I used to always carry my books and stuff with me. And so when I would lose a job, I would come to the door and my wife would look down at the shopping bag. Oh, come on in. Oh. She knew if I had my shopping bag, that was when I used to work for social service agencies and stuff.
Oh man.
When she saw that shopping bag, she looked down the shopping bag, give me a hug, come on in. I
think your woman is she's I don't know that people want to accept that is their reality, because they want to change things. Yeah. They want more. They're under the influence of the dollar. We live in a capitalist society, and everybody is trying not to be on the bottom.
Right.
We are on the bottom. So,
but one year, he was working at a factory, and he got laid off, and so then so his wife divorced him, and his wife had 3 sisters, and they all divorced their husbands the same year, and so his wife asked my wife, Clyde, he's not working that good, you should just divorce him and leave him, and she told me later, she said I told Gwen that, okay, right now he's not doing well, but that doesn't mean he's going to always be down. So I can wait, And so then, I mean, damn, eventually, in a sense, things started going good, And so, hey, that's the only thing, I remember when I first started teaching. I was teaching at Carver High School that had just opened. So this brother, I used to hate this brother coming to class. He'd wear some tents every day, and he'd have him a little sharp hat. I mean, he was about 19. I'm 22, so I mean, we're about the same age,
right?
So he said, Clyde. He said, Mr. Winters. My auntie, she got an associate degree, and my mama a job. Why should I really be coming to school? I hated that boy. I hated him because I didn't have an answer at that time. I didn't have an answer. Later, I did have an answer. If I would have known, I would have said, well, if you go to school, it's like money in the bank. Sooner or later, you're going to cash it in and it's going to pay off. But at that time, I didn't have an answer, and I felt so stupid. And he felt so strong because he had defeated me because I had no answer. Why you should go to university? Why you should spend your time in school?
Yeah. And
so, but the thing is this, is that, hell, I think that black women back in the day, a lot of them, not so much today, because today most women feel that their man should be able to give them a middle-class life and they should be able to keep jobs, blah, blah, blah. But back in the day, I think that most black women knew that they may have to help their man. They might have to help their man to make it. And a lot of times they have to delude their men. Are you saying that your woman is trying to put you into a state of delusion? Yes. You want to make him believe that it's coming. You ain't got it yet.
That's it's kind of like what we were talking about before we went live. If you don't believe in it, it's not going to happen, and it doesn't really matter if other people believe in it. But in that intimate relationship that you have with your woman or man, well, I guess coming from the women's side of things, it would be in your benefit to believe that he can do these things, because if not, then essentially you're saying that your leadership is shitty, and then you're going to rebel. You're going to look to outside influences, and
Maybe.
or because you're getting your check from the white man and he's getting a check from the white man, and your check being bigger, you start to feel like you have authority on some of these things. I don't know that that's very feminine. I think that, they tried to disrupt our growth with drugs, with prison, with abortions. But I think what we have right now with this gay or you can be single indefinitely because your Prince Charming, your unicorn hasn't landed on your doorstep. So you're going to go be a professional senior or super senior, a professional degree seeker, and just keep changing the goalposts, moving the goalposts. And now you're 64, no kids, no legacy of your own, as much as, yeah, you might have been real successful in your career, but is your job going to remember you in 10 years? I mean, is that really the type of thing that we want to pass down? Or, I mean, I guess you wouldn't be passing anything down. You don't have any kids.
But it's easy to feel like that. But it's just, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Because see, you got all these conflicting thoughts, and everybody's trying to put you under their influence. Your mama tell you a man ain't shit, and your mama tell you in a sense that you got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure that you protect yourself. You got to make sure in a sense that because you can't expect that old man to take care of you. Yeah, she's talking from the fact that as Nelly Fuller said, with prisons of war, and the European does dictate our relationships. The European does, in a sense, dictate if I can stay with you and you stay with me. Sometimes in a sense we can overcome that, but most of the time he has that authority over us because we're prisoners of war. Sometimes he'll let us get on the yard and be able to be looking independent. We might get a little dice game going on the yard, and I might win a little money and I might feel successful. So it's the same thing. You might a man, and you may feel that in a sense you guys will throw the dice and hope that you two can be a successful relationship. But everything is out of your control because you don't have a mother or father who knows somebody who will find a job for your man.
Right.
And knows who can give a job to you, or has a friend that can give a job to you. And so then everything is always, in a sense, into this failure. And like I was just thinking, somebody got mad at me when I said that most Black people, we always have government jobs.
But we do.
Yeah.
I mean, why'd they get mad? They mad at the data?
Yeah, because they don't want to think that they got a job with the city as a policeman, teacher, fireman, or they got a job with the county, or they got a job with the state, or they work for an agency that gets a grant from the county, the state, or the federal government. Everything. We're always on a leash. We're always on a leash, and it's very difficult. But and it's very hard because see, you get people like Boyce Watkins. Yes, you've got to be entrepreneurs, and you should be an entrepreneur. But he doesn't, and you shouldn't worry about getting a job. But you got to get a job to get the capital to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
You just don't become an entrepreneur without monies.
Correct.
And so so you still have to always run to what? That European to get that job, And it's very messed up. It is very messed up. you know.
Yeah. Like my internet, did I freeze on you? Because my screen just went black. So
Well, I can see your picture, but it's okay.
I they
You
I
know,
think we're having productive conversations is when my little internet trolls start to come out and say, "Hey, no, we're not going to let you speak on these things." But I mean, what we're talking about to choose. Oh, you said, what do you do? How do you beat being under the influence? I think it's that you have to choose the hard thing, because even if you are addicted to alcohol, drugs, sugar, the hard thing is to abstain. If you a
yeah,
sex addict, you need to abstain. Uh, it's a lot of ease that comes with just giving in, and that's that is the influence of whatever it is that you're participating in.
they
So
do. But look at how many people abstain, but then eventually they give in. It's never long lasting. You'll find these baby mamas, and okay, well, hey, they did good by not having a baby for a while. But then some guy come along and they just, I'm gonna try 'em. Bam, they're pregnant. What the hell did I do that for? That's
that's
it. That's
serious.
it. You know, I remember when I was growing up and I was in my mom and them, and they be talking, the women be talking. Yeah, I can, it wasn't no way I could stop a damn baby. I just had to get pregnant. Y'all men just ain't no good. I said to myself, hell, the rubber been out since the 1920s.
I'm saying,
You
I'm
know,
saying, no, I'm with you, and
yeah,
you'll be mad at me if you want to. If you got pregnant outside of you getting raped, so I'm not talking about like an extenuating circumstance. I'm
you
talking
wanted
about
to.
everybody else. Right. You wanted to get pregnant.
Right.
Everybody and they mama know how to prevent a baby. And
That's
if it's
right.
not abstaining, it's using some protection.
Right. And you just hope for the best sometimes, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's very hard because see, you've been conditioned. You want to always feel helpless. I think a lot of times as a black person, I think a lot of times both men and women, we like to feel helpless because that way, in a sense, that can absolve us from anything that doesn't work out. You know what I'm saying?
It does. It removes the responsibility. But that's why I think that if we were gonna put this in prioritization or in any type of order, uh, being a baby mom might be better than not having a baby at all, because it is the extermination of us. Making it to 2024. How'd you get here? Your ancestors went through some shit, and
Yeah.
then you took yourself out by not wanting to be here in the future, or not having those thoughts, or being selfish about what it is that you want. You got to do the hard thing if you want to get from up under the influence. And being a single mom, that seems like choosing a hard thing, like on purpose. But that also leads to other issues, like not having the time to be around your mini when they are impressionable and can be influenced by things, right? Like what we started with. You could be around a group of your child friends. All of you are the same age, around the same age, so everybody's innocent. But then that one kid who's got that older sibling has seen some things, and then they want to talk to their friends about these things because I'm not going to talk to mommy and daddy about it. That's no, my older brother's cool. They trusted me to know that I wasn't going to go tell, but I got to tell somebody. So then
Yeah.
they tell their friends, and now your baby came home and it's like, what's a blow job? Wait, what? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, but you're absolutely correct, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point is that a lot of times, in a sense, you have to sometimes allow your child is going to go out and they're going to learn about what's in the world, but but I do believe in a sense, to the best of your ability, you should try to, if you can, you should maybe establish an environment like my son's a manager. he's a manager of a store. So I was talking to him earlier today, and he said, he's down south now. He used to manage up in, but now he got a job down south. So he's saying, Pops, he's saying, when I was up in in Illinois, in Indiana, if somebody stole something, they would grab it and try to run. But he said, now down south, these people, they try to steal right in front of your face. He said, young man, I'm right here standing. Take that out of your pocket. Take that out of your pocket. He told some kids, y'all stop. I can see you stealing. He said, I'm not going to have you arrested right now. But I said, why do you see me standing right here and you're going to try to put something in your pocket? And then he said, later the boy grabbed something, and the white, he had some white assistant managers and stuff. And the white assistant managers, they called the police and then had the kids put in jail. But what do you do? What do you do when you cannot get people to be able to think? When your kids, when you can't get black kids to be able to think, that you're doing things that are so stupid. He said the funniest thing, Pops, is up north. If somebody steals something up north, they steal and they run out the store. He said these people, they try to steal in front of your face and walk out. Put on a shirt or a sweat or a hoodie from the store. You can see the damn tag hanging off, and they're gonna try to walk. What the hell is this? He said instead of running, they try to walk out. But this is the way. This is just to see the culture, and culture is very important in terms of how people respond to things. You know what I'm saying?
It is, because I was thinking that as many videos as I've seen of these illegals stealing from grocery stores and like department stores, or I watched this one video, it was so sad how they ransacked this man's 7-Eleven. But I also am like, well, I guess self-inflicted wound, maybe you shouldn't be over here, so that's, but anyway, they it was like 100 people came and just straight took over the 7-Eleven, and I'm saying they were stealing everything, and some of them had their faces covered, a lot of them were taking video. I'm like, well, y'all are so brazen that you will take video of you doing the crime, because it's
a lot of those that started out with Latinos at first. Now a few black people coming in, but it used to be Latinos who would drive up to a store and they just bum rush the store, and they just all go in and clean it out. Now some black people try to do it, but it's kind of silly. You can, a lot of times they have hood. See, now that people can have these surgical masks on since COVID, that allow a lot of people to think that they can put a hoodie on and a surgical mask, but you can still see those white hands,
That is too funny.
And it is funny, but it's kind of dangerous, because see, people don't do it. I remember I told my mom and dad once, I said, y'all teaching me to be a crook, a thief. And they said, what are you talking about? I said, y'all teaching me to be a thief. And they said, no, we're not teaching you to be a thief. I said, y'all always talking about the white man took this from us, the white man took that from us. I said, you're making me feel that I should take something from watermelons when y'all was little, stealing this, stealing that. So I said, y'all teaching me to be a thief. And we do teach our kids sometimes. They have a bad attitude, because we're teaching them that the white man did this to us, the white man did that, and that the white man owed us something. And since a lot of times we be telling our kids the white man owed us something, sometimes those kids can feel, well, hey, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go and steal that car over there. Or I'm going to go and steal something from the store. That's the wrong attitude. And yet, at the same time, we sometimes forget what we're teaching our children just off of careless conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But it's a dangerous time that we live in. The people who ransacked that 7-Eleven, they all look like they were of some sort of Hispanic origin, and or, you know, Middle Eastern type of, you know, descent. But in real time, they still only really show us doing anything if they have it on film.
Yeah.
Or, you know, we're the unrest. We're always the public dissenters. But then these other groups will piggyback right off of our
Look at this.
public dissent.
Look at this. They let the Italians start the mafia. They let the Jamaicans run the crack business. You see, and then but every time I'm not saying be a criminal, but every time a Foundation of Black America tried to start, no, the Jews, they had their gangbangers, the Italians, all of them. But whenever Foundation of Black Americans try to do some type of criminal enterprise, they always snuff it out.
Oh yeah, RICO charges and everything.
Right.
I mean, Diddy with his 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I don't know what all his charges are, other than just being a freak, you know. And from there, consensual sex. Maybe you don't like the fact that you consented to it now, or all these other people doing all these things. It's very crazy that we get singled out to take the fall and stuff like that.
That's why a lot of times I want to feel sometimes, but I used to go to frat parties when I was in college, and these girls, they know those guys taking them up to the room. Then the next day, what happened? I can't remember. You know exactly what the hell you did. I see them pouring the drinks in the damn pot, and then they go up to the damn room. Then later the next day, they you know, what did those guys do to me? I said to myself, you know what they did.
Oh, you know what they did.
Yeah,
you know what they did. And even if you don't know what they did, you know what they did, because you knew what was you knew what you were getting into when you took that first cup. So that's like those people who say, I didn't know I was going to get pregnant. Yes, you did. You thought it was going to change things for you. And unfortunately it didn't.
You know, like I know a lot of football players. You know, I bet they can't even remember the names of all the girls they had sex with in college. You know, it's just sad. It's crazy. But again, in a sense, because of the fact we're under the influence to think that we're this or we think we're that, you know, we're under the influence that because I'm a football player, because I'm a preacher, you know, I can do what I want to do. And so we always have these different influences that allow us to think that we can be able to treat people any way we wish, which is wrong. But we allow, in a sense, to be influenced by others to lead us into a different world. Like I said, with the Black Power people, a lot of these so-called Black Power people that they look up to, they were assholes. A lot of them, you know, and they be on the thing. Oh yeah, I don't know about John Henry Clark, but you know, a lot of them, they're talking about this one, that one, you know. Then you say, damn, they talk about, oh, we love Benjamin Cannon, we love Francis Wilson, and then you find out all that love people had for them, and then Tariq Nasheed had to bury him. Get out.
Right.
That's pathetic. You know,
people, they're under the influence of us getting what we're owed, but then they don't actually believe it. That's what I'm saying. Belief, I hate it because it's not tangible, but I've seen it produce tangible results in people who put work behind the belief. You can't sit here and pray for a flower to grow if you haven't watered it and given it sunlight. And then if you really want it to do some things, then you feed it some fertilizer. It doesn't have to be chemicals, but you know, you give the nutrition that the plant needs to be great. And then, you know, the maths, you believe that the things that you've done are going to produce something that makes sense because the data already supports it.
Yeah.
And then
great so far as that those team rampage mob takeover seems to be a new thing. I feel social media trends fuel stupid behavior to you. They're not stupid. They just get together. It started during COVID, because I remember during COVID, they were talking about how these these Spanish people in downtown Chicago would park a car, would run a car into the door, and then they would rampage, run in, and they would steal everything inside the store. Then come out. So a lot of it was Latino started. Now some black people try to do it, but a lot of it they know exactly what they're doing. It's not a mistake. It's just that they feel, hey, why not storm it? Why not take it? But the point is, this is it. As I said earlier, they let the Jews start a criminal organization. They let the Italians. They let the Jamaicans, but they will not let us because they don't want you. They do not want us to have any type of money, any type of independence, and because see, money provides independence. The only mob bosses that the foundational black community has is a preacher.
Is the church. Absolutely.
A preacher of a big church, because then he's guaranteed that he's going to get that monies.
Mm-hmm. Them pulpit pimps.
That's right.
And then for what it's worth, I mean, the Catholic Church has always been very proud of crusading and of their taking over, their domination, their ability to infiltrate and persuade. So I don't know why more people aren't comfortable with accepting that they're under the influence, because I think it's the acceptance that will help you get to the next step. But if you won't even accept that you've been programmed, it's almost a lost cause. You're going to be shouting about things to a brick wall.
Yeah. Like a lot of wine heads, when I was growing up, the wine heads, the philosophers of the community, they when I was a kid, they say, I used to talk a lot, and they said, Clyde, so you could be a real pimp, real pimp, real pimp. You got to become, you got that voice, man. You can deal with it. You get them ladies and go into church, and then you touch them. Then they show me somewhere. Touch them right here in the back, and they'll give you all their money, man. All their money. They said if you become a preacher, you'll be a real pimp. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's what they. But I told them, I said that if you ever see me preaching, it'll be because God talked to me. Well, God ain't talked to me yet, so I can't be a preacher.
No, I don't think that you could. Some people have slime ball in them and some people don't. And then when you do the hard thing, right, magical things start happening. Really, truly, it's amazing how just a little bit of us can take you a very long way. Winos in our community, we have people who've been doing hard drugs for a long time, people who have been fucking their livers and kidneys up for a long time, and they're still here. Them other people are zombied out on the streets and dying at 30, 32. I just saw some white musician, 31 years old, died because they said he fell off of a balcony. How do you fall off of a balcony? You didn't fall off of a damn balcony. Something happened. You might have been under the influence of something.
Right.
Like you not just falling off of a balcony. That's insane, especially now when there's all sorts of what do they call it? OSHA, right? All sorts of OSHA violations. You got guardrails.
He was in Argentina.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. Okay, so there you go. So we're in one of them countries, so they might not have the same requirement.
But I've been in hotels where the hotels can go up, where the elevators on the side, like Luxor in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Luxor is like that. Yeah, where you got the elevators at the end. But you could fall over the banisters all the way down from the 16th floor, because that's the way it is, But it's interesting. But again, like I said, is that it's very difficult, and it's hard not to be under the influence, because you're under the influence because we're still influenced so much by our peers, by our families, by just by society, And because of that, it's very difficult. It's just like how it's just how, like, during the Black Power times, how we became cultists. How you had to join a cult, and it was like a cult. They act like you were independent, but no, they wanted to have something on you. Sisters, they was all welcome, but you stay in that kitchen cooking that fried chicken and stuff.
You better fry that chicken.
Fry that chicken, baby.
Don't say nothing. Your thoughts don't matter, but you better fry that chicken.
Yeah, so we talk about it wasn't equality during the Black Power movement. No, it wasn't. No equality. The brother man still wanted in fact, that's how you found a lot of brothers who thought they were acted like white men because they wanted to have that power over the sisters,
Right.
So I don't know.
Under the influence too. It is what Mr. Fuller talks about, that prisoner of war consciousness, because our reality is that we can't really move without permission. Like if I wanted to go to Antarctica, could I go anywhere in Antarctica? If I want to go to the Grand Canyon, can I go anywhere in the Grand Canyon? There's levels to what we're allowed to do. And then it might not even be something conspiracy related as much as it's just, you can't go because we said so. Like, right. Don't walk on the grass. They're not growing flowers. There's no chemicals. They just start putting up signs and saying there are regulations and rules, and you break right. these rules, then you're gonna go to jail. And I don't know. It is society's acceptance of these unnatural norms that have people under an influence.
Right.
If you didn't think that you were under some sort of spell, then you would just keep moving. Like we talked about the Truman Show. He was supposed to not know that all of it was fake. He was supposed to just accept it. But his brain was like, I can't accept the fact that some of this shit is just too perfect. Y'all are too TV perfect, picture perfect. How is it like this? So,
And but the Truman Show is so deep. It is so deep when you think about it. But some people can live in such a reality. Even some black people can live in a reality where they can really believe. I know, just like when I was growing up, I always felt that like we were Baptists. We were Baptists, because but all on the white side, not the white side, the light side of my family, my father's side, they was all super light skinned. Father had gray eyes, all that type of shit, and they were mainly Catholics. And we were Baptists, and it was just interesting how it was over there, because I remember when my cousins Johnny Jr. and Ernie, Ernie went to Missouri, Johnny Jr. went to Kansas. So I almost had a scholarship to the University of Colorado, but my coach told me I was Black Power, so they didn't give me the scholarship. So I was very pissed. That was back when there was the Big 8, and so then, but I just noticed that I remember when we were over at my grandmother's house, and my grandmother used to live with my auntie, and when we were over there, I remember Johnny Jr. when he came over and he had his girlfriend. She could almost pass for white, but you could still tell her she was black. Mm-hmm. But it was just, hey, that was just the way it was, And then, my grandma said, couldn't you kind of find somebody just a little lighter? Well, I said, hell, I myself, damn, I'm just being like my mama. She darky, so I'm a darky too. But now it looks as though people are trying to go back to that color stuff.
Yeah, it's the illusion of inclusion.
Say that again. Say that again. You rhymed.
The illusion of inclusion.
All right, sure. That's cool.
White people right now are emulating the black look. Gay people right now are very confused about what the look's supposed to be. If gay is theirs, and then white gay men are trying to act like black women, and then the opposite, the women are trying to be all thug and hood, right? This stereotypical Black man that you would see on TV, baggy pants and short fade hair top. It's very strange. But inside of all of that, you've got people who are doing the hard thing. I don't want to be repetitive like that, but I guess it's how you establish some sort of discipline. You have to get into a routine the same way that Saturday morning cartoons were coming on. So you got your little cereal, you set your little place up, and you knew for the next 3 hours you were going to be plugged into your cartoons. But
it's sad that they took that away from. I used to love it too. I used to love it. But then they took it away from the last 15 years. Saturday morning is nothing now.
Yeah. Well, because the children are doing these electronic things. They're playing the video game until the wee hours of the mornings, and they're really not up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I mean, me and my brother, we were in things.
You got a point there.
Because we had things to do, games to go to, or recital, or whatever. So if it was Saturday, it's like a break from the responsibilities that we had.
That's right.
These children have a break 24/7.
Yeah.
And the adults, they see the rules are not being applied evenly across the board. So then they feel like they can just do it too. Yeah. And you can't, Diddy, you can't do what Harvey Weinstein did because you're not Harvey Weinstein. Why do we have to say that? But
they can always put you in your place. They can put you in your place. I'm sorry.
Until we do something about it. More Black people do the hard thing, then we won't have to deal with it like this. It's just going to present a new set of problems. They always say if it ain't one thing, it's another thing. And as much as I hate that, it is true. But right now, the information that's being presented to us, they say that Kamala was winning by a landslide, right? But now they say it's tied. And then places where she was up all these points, she's only up by a couple percentage points.
Yeah.
But we don't agree with Trump, but the numbers look like this. And if he doesn't win, it's going to be chaos. So might as well vote for him anyway. Or if you don't vote for her, it just means that you're letting tyranny win. They are pulling on everybody's emotion strings to
those people who pay attention. Unless you're like me, I'm a couch man.
Yeah, I'm definitely a couch woman over here, but it's the environment. We have to pay attention to it because if we don't, or at least because we have impressionable children right now, it's very important that we pay attention to what all is being presented because they're going to come home with some questions. And if I don't have an answer, that's when they start to not pay attention to you. Like, I thought daddy knew everything, but they don't. And I guess I'm going to just have to go figure it out on my own. You don't want that.
Yeah, I can imagine that is because especially a lot of schools might be talking about politics. I don't have any little kids, so I don't know. I got some grown kids and I love them. Did I say I love them? I love them.
You love them. Yeah, gotta love them.
I love my babies. I'm so happy. Fellas out there, I'm going to tell you this is that you may not really think about this today, but it is so wonderful when your woman can give you some children. Because when your woman can give you some children, they can be a great joy. They can be a burden too sometimes. But the fact that your woman has the nerve, and I repeat, the nerve to be able to become pregnant and have your child, you just don't know how lucky you are, man. You're very lucky.
And she was under the influence of you.
I don't know about that.
Well, it has to be because they say, and I guess I can testify to this, that we forget the pain of childbirth because, if we remembered it, we wouldn't want to have no more babies.
That's true, but it ain't because of me. My wife My wife was the only child, so that's why I think she wanted all those babies. But see, by me coming from a family of 10, I just took it for granted I was going to have children. I didn't think about it. But what do you want to say? Any final words, Eve?
Well, I just want everybody to know that if you have accepted that you're under the influence of something, it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Sometimes we need guidance, and sometimes we don't necessarily know why we need it from where you're getting it from. But if you just accept things, if you always are just a person who's just like, I'm not going to question it, whatever, the sky didn't fall today, so, I trust the weatherman, whatever they say, then you can't be mad about the layout of how things turn out. I just find that there's so many people who have something to say about things, but then they don't want to do anything. They're accepting their addiction. And I don't want to be one of those people who participate in other people's mental illness. I want people to get help. We need help. Lots of people need help. We're dealing with people who hate us, but love us and want to kill us, replace us, and take over. It's a very strange time that we're living in, but it is only a minute of our 24-hour existence on this planet, so we can do it.
It's only a minute. It's only
a minute.
The only thing that can save you is be one. Be one. Be one. To fight Cage, you must stay black first.